In January 2009, Captain Chesley Sully Sullenberger successfully made an emergency landing in the Hudson River, saving every single passenger and crew member on his plane. America collectively anointed this off-shy pilot as a hero, and he went on a media tour that ended with an invite to the presidential inauguration. In my living room, while watching all this unfold on the television, I called bullshit. Captain Sully is not a hero. As far as I can tell, he was considered a hero because he saved the lives of his passengers, which sure was amazingly selfless, but it's also something he's supposed to do. As it stands, I'm pretty sure the pilot's handbook doesn't read, "In case of emergency landing, save yourself." I'm also positive that the majority of air travelers would not board a plane if they thought the pilot wasn't concerned with whether they lived or died. The pilot's main responsibility is to get the plane and everything on it safely from point A to point B, and in return, the pilot gets paid to accomplish this. The plane landing was spectacular and definitely worthy of praise, but Sully's landing had a statistical 50-50 chance of going the wrong way, and then we'd have no hero, just an idiot who tried to land a plane in a river. Captain Sully couldn't predict the Hudson's safety, he was hoping for it, and a hero doesn't hope, that's what the non-heroes do. We sit around hoping for heroes. In interviews, Sully was praised for doing every single thing according to the book and safety regulations. He performed his job flawlessly, which means Captain Sully was very good at his job. The guy who flew Buddy Holly's plane, not good at his job. Captain Sully was no more a hero than he was an Employee of the Month, an award he actually got. This begs the obvious question, can a hero be paid to be a hero? Does that somehow lessen their selfish achievements? It would have to, considering that monetary gain eliminates selflessness. The girl at Subway isn't a hero because she gave me extra cheese, but the pothead behind me in line seems to think she is. Sure, she could be risking her job and therefore her well-being to throw me an extra slice, but she's also getting paid to stand there and not care. Maybe it's the heroic act itself that matters regardless of financial motivation. Examine the following scenarios. Number 1, Bob on his way home from work is stopped at a red light. He looks to his right and sees a woman of indeterminate age being robbed by a very large man of indeterminate age and race who is holding a knife to the woman's throat. Bob darts from his car and without blinking attacks the man from behind and in the process is stabbed. The rest of the onlookers, inspired by Bob's actions, decide to collectively attack the thief who flees the scene being heavily outnumbered. Bob lies on the ground injured but not fatally. The news and emergency crews arrive on the scene and interview Bob as the people on the scene congratulate him and call him a hero. For the next few months, Bob is celebrated all around his average American town, given free meals and drinks wherever he goes, and garners several small appearances around the VFW halls and schools. Scenario 2. Travis, having just graduated from your average high school in America, learns he cannot afford to go to college, so he sets up a meeting at the local Army recruiting office. Not only does the Army promise to pay Travis a signing bonus and a regular paycheck, they've also informed him that he'll be getting a great scholarship to attend college once he completes his basic obligations to the Army. Travis's parents are a little concerned since the country is in several conflicts and they want their son to be safe. But all involved are well aware that combat is one of the things Travis signed up for. In fact, everything he's receiving from the Army is in exchange for his service in case of war. After basic training, Travis is quickly sent off to the Middle East. He received several letters and videos from friends and family reminding him that he's their hero. One day while patrolling, Travis and his fellow soldiers are attacked. All of them are injured and sent home. They're honored with medals from the Army, a bonus, and a hero's welcome. Travis now begins his full ride to a state university with hopes of earning a master's after all is said and done. Now, out of these two scenarios, who is the actual hero? Or are they both heroes? Now, they're both heroes technically, but not fundamentally. To fundamentally be considered someone with heroic qualities, you have to A, have little concern for your own well-being by going above and beyond what is expected by common people, or B, live in Gotham City. Now, that's not to say that common people can't be heroes. In fact, it's only common people that can rise to that level. However, someone who is paid to do a task and does it completely perfect isn't a hero. They're simply looking out for their own well-being by providing a paid service, which could possibly help others. So technically, Bob and Travis are both heroes, but fundamentally only Bob is. Why? Because soldiers are paid protectors, or as some politicians put it, democracy liaisons. No one looks back at the Vikings and says, man, those dudes were so heroic, or cites the examples of the Crusades as an effort worthy of regal distinction, which means our soldiers' heroism is essential to an American ideal that most of you spend your time mocking on blogs and Twitter. These colors don't run, we will never forget, unless Amy Winehouse dies and we have some real shit to talk about. Now, this isn't to say I don't respect soldiers, because I do. They've signed up for something that I would never in a million years try. In fact, almost every male member of my family was in the armed forces, and growing up, I never looked at them as heroes. I just looked at them as people who made a so-so living, wore uniforms, while simultaneously protecting me from outside evils. It was like growing up as Whitney Houston in The Bodyguard, but with better hair. This means that being dubbed a hero is based in one's perception of how much they value what was at stake in the situation. Captain Sully had a lot to lose in his landing and came through the other side celebrated because collectively we believe that saving a life is heroic. Sure, it's a wonderful thing, but it's not heroic. Because although saving someone's life is the greatest thing one can do, it's also the perception of what's expected in an emergency. Letting someone die is just unacceptable, which makes us incapable of fully understanding it, so anyone who stops death is looked at as Superman. Are jobs like firemen or surgeons or pilots heroic because a life is on the line, or did they simply make a ballsy career choice? A lot of money in advertising goes into making us view our teachers as heroes, but the truth is, they're not either. In fact, my 9th grade math teacher did everything she could to avoid students and eat Twinkies. To call her a hero would be like calling the Kool-Aid Man a hero, which might be true. If you can't unilaterally attribute that moniker of heroism to every teacher, then it can't stick. But since a teacher's job sucks ass, we consider any of them who don't go crazy to be heroic, because also collectively, Americans hate their children. Of course, I've had great teachers who I admire and think the world of, but that doesn't mean anything other than they chose the right profession and perform it at the highest level they can. If that's a hero, then the waiter at TGI Fridays who makes sure my drink is always full without me ever asking is also one, and technically, he is. We, out of our own deductive qualities, decide who is and who isn't a hero, individually and those we celebrate as a nation. Sure, things like the media, friends, and family can easily influence us, but ultimately, we make the call. I've only ever looked at 3 people as heroes. My mom, because she's never given up. Hulk Hogan, because I was 9 and he beat up the Russian guy. And Rocky from Rocky IV, because I was 9 and he beat up the Russian guy. And technically, no one can tell me I'm wrong, because I was young, and nothing has ever felt so real as the chills in my body when Ivan Drago hit the mat. Doctors can be heroes, soldiers, or even the girl at Subway who gives me an extra piece of cheese. But if anything and everyone can be perceived to be heroic, that technically means that nothing and no one is, which I guess fundamentally is the way we like it, and the main reason why Transformers 3 has made $800 million. Thank you.